Johnson's recent filmography reads like a financial success story written in a dead language. Red One, despite being universally panned, still managed to gross 185 million worldwide. Black Adam, widely regarded as one of the most expensive superhero failures in recent memory, still earned $393 million globally. Even his universally mocked Baywatch scraped together $177 million worldwide. These aren't the statistics of a has-been. They're the bewildering figures of someone who continues to command significant global audience attention despite producing content that fails to resonate on virtually every other metric. Yet the money keeps flowing, creating a bizarre disconnect between commercial performance and cultural impact. What makes this phenomenon particularly fascinating is its defiance of traditional entertainment economics. In previous decades, cultural irrelevance typically preceded commercial decline, but Johnson has somehow managed to decouple these traditionally linked trajectories, creating a new category of celebrity: the culturally irrelevant cash cow. The death of safe bets. For over a decade, Johnson represented Hollywood's ultimate insurance policy, the closest thing the industry had to a guaranteed return on investment. Studios could greenlight virtually any project with confidence, knowing his presence virtually guaranteed a certain floor of global box office performance. This rock guarantee became so reliable that it fundamentally altered how tentpole films were conceived and marketed throughout the 2010s. This safety-first approach created an entire ecosystem of Johnson-adjacent entertainment. Films designed not to challenge or surprise, but to deliver exactly what audiences expected. The Fast and Furious franchise transformation from street racing drama to superhero fantasy perfectly exemplifies the shift. But audiences, particularly younger demographics who came of age during the streaming wars, have grown weary of insurance policies masquerading as entertainment. The post-pandemic landscape has revealed a hunger for authenticity, unpredictability, and genuine emotional surprise, qualities that Johnson's carefully calibrated brand actively resists. The rise of actors like Adam Driver, Oscar Isaac, and Anya Taylor-Joy represents everything Johnson's brand philosophy opposes. These actors build careers on unpredictability, on the possibility their next role might completely subvert audience expectations. Johnson, by contrast, has built his empire on the promise that his next role will deliver exactly what his previous role delivered, refined perhaps, but fundamentally unchanged. The algorithmic trap. Johnson's social media presence, once his greatest competitive advantage, has become a monument to cultural disconnect. His Instagram account, boasting over 390 million followers, generates impressive engagement statistics that belie the increasingly hollow nature of actual engagement. The 4 a.m. workout videos, motivational captions sprinkled with corporate speak positivity, carefully staged, authentic family moments. These posts perform well numerically while inspiring diminishing genuine emotional connection. The platform that once allowed Johnson to appear more accessible than traditional Hollywood stars now makes him seem more artificial and calculated than ever. His content feels focus grouped, optimized for algorithmic distribution rather than human connection. The result feels less like a person sharing their life and more like a marketing department operating an expensive influencer account. The infamous In-N-Out burger incidents perfectly encapsulate this phenomenon. Johnson's repeated claims of trying the California chain for the first time, documented across multiple years, weren't just harmless lies. They were symptoms of a deeper inability to exist authentically outside his manufactured persona. This incident revealed the extent to which Johnson had become trapped within his own digital ecosystem. He couldn't eat a meal without considering its content potential, couldn't experience a simple pleasure without calculating its engagement possibilities. The spontaneity that once made his social media appealing had been completely systematized, leaving behind a hollow simulacrum of authenticity that audiences increasingly recognize as artificial. The prosthetic paradox. Johnson's dramatic transformation for The Smashing Machine, requiring 22 individual prosthetic pieces to disappear completely into the role of MMA fighter Mark Kerr, serves as an unintentionally perfect metaphor for his career's current trajectory. Only by literally burying his instantly recognizable features, under layers of artificial enhancement could he access genuine artistic credibility. The irony is devastating. To prove he could act, Johnson had to stop being Johnson entirely. The 15.5-minute standing ovation at the Venice International Film Festival wasn't celebrating The Rock's triumphant dramatic debut. It was applauding his complete absence. Critics praised him as a revelation and career-changing, precisely because he had managed to become someone else entirely, to excavate the human being buried beneath decades of brand management. The performance worked because audiences could forget they were watching Dwayne Johnson, could engage with Mark Kerr as a complete, complex human being rather than a corporate construct. This transformation required more than physical prosthetics. Johnson had to alter his voice, his posture, his entire energetic presence. He had to access vulnerability, defeat, and genuine emotional complexity, qualities his brand has systematically eliminated over the past decade. The result was his most acclaimed performance in years, achieved by negating everything that made him commercially viable. The Venice success suggests that Johnson's true artistic potential has been held hostage by his own commercial success. Like Midas discovering that golden food cannot provide nourishment, Johnson may finally be realizing that golden box office returns cannot feed the soul of a performer. But the question remains, can he carry these insights back to his mainstream career? Or will the smashing machine remain an isolated artistic experiment? The post-pandemic paradigm shift. The entertainment landscape emerging from the COVID-19 pandemic rewards fundamentally different qualities than the one Johnson conquered during the 2010s. Audiences who spent years in isolation, confronting mortality and uncertainty, seem less interested in invincible protagonists who never lose fights and more drawn to characters who struggle with recognizable human challenges. They crave complexity, moral ambiguity, and genuine emotional vulnerability. Precisely the qualities Johnson's brand has systematically eliminated in favor of inspirational infallibility. This shift isn't merely aesthetic, it reflects deeper changes in how audiences process entertainment after collective trauma. The superhero fatigue that has afflicted even Marvel and DC properties stems partly from oversaturation, but also from audiences' evolving relationship with invincibility fantasies. After living through a global pandemic, economic uncertainty, and social upheaval, viewers seem more interested in stories about resilience through failure than triumph through strength. Meanwhile, Johnson's contemporaries from the wrestling to Hollywood pipeline have adapted brilliantly to these changing audience preferences. Dave Bautista deliberately chose challenging, character-driven roles in films like Blade Runner 2049 and Dune, earning critical respect by embracing failure, complexity, and emotional nuance. His willingness to play flawed, defeated, or even villainous characters has made him one of the most respected actor transitions in recent memory. John Cena found his own path to post-pandemic relevance through radical self-deprecation and comedic vulnerability. His performances in Peacemaker and various comedy projects display the kind of self-aware humor and willingness to be genuinely embarrassed that Johnson's ego structure cannot accommodate. Both actors understood intuitively what Johnson seems unable to grasp. The old model of muscular invincibility was becoming culturally obsolete. The empathy deficit. Perhaps most revealing about Johnson's current predicament is his apparent inability to recognize or adapt to these fundamental shifts in audience preference. His defensive responses to criticism, his doubling down on failed strategies, his continued insistence on contractual no-lose clauses, all suggest someone who has become so insulated within his own mythology that he cannot perceive the world beyond its borders. The transcripts from his conversation with Brendan Fraser offer a rare glimpse into what Johnson might be capable of when his corporate conditioning briefly malfunctions. In those moments of unguarded interaction, he displays genuine curiosity, authentic emotional response, and real human connection. He listens actively, responds organically, and allows himself to be affected by another person's experience. These qualities, empathy, vulnerability, genuine presence, are precisely what his mainstream performances now lack. But these moments feel accidental, like brief system glitches that reveal the human being trapped within the corporate apparatus. Johnson seems as surprised by his own authentic responses as observers are, suggesting that these glimpses of genuine humanity have become foreign to his conscious experience of himself. This empathy deficit extends beyond personal interactions to his apparent inability to read cultural moments accurately. His tone-deaf handling of the Maui wildfire fundraising, his obliviousness to audience fatigue with his social media persona, his confusion about why Black Adam failed to generate enthusiasm, all point to someone whose success has insulated him from the feedback loops that keep most public figures calibrated to public sentiment. The Golden Prison Johnson's predicament represents a uniquely modern form of celebrity imprisonment, the successful entertainer who becomes too successful to evolve. His films still generate profit, but they no longer generate genuine excitement. His presence still draws global audiences, but it no longer moves them emotionally. He has achieved the reverse Midas touch. Everything he touches retains its commercial value while losing its capacity to truly matter to human beings. This golden prison is self-reinforcing. The more Johnson relies on his proven formula, the more audiences tire of it, but the more financially dependent he becomes on maintaining it. Breaking free would require risking the very commercial viability that defines his current identity, a gamble that someone who contractually refuses to lose fights seems constitutionally incapable of taking. The tragedy isn't just personal, it's emblematic of an entire entertainment industry built on risk-averse formulas and algorithmic optimization. In an era where audiences increasingly crave authentic human experience, the very reliability that made Johnson valuable has rendered him culturally irrelevant. The gold still glitters impressively in financial reports, but in the cultural marketplace where meaning and emotional resonance are currency, nobody wants to hold it anymore. The question now is whether Johnson can break free from his golden prison, or whether he'll remain trapped forever, counting his profits while the world moves on without him. A deeply cautionary tale about the hidden costs of never allowing yourself to truly lose, and the steep price of trading pure authenticity for commercial reliability.